Ages right here on Play Spot. I am Kamurai, and
And I
that's wrong way. That's a pair of
nope.
boobs.
Doge doggone boobs.
I
Here to talk about video games. What's up, guys? What's up?
I didn't actually put her up to that. Like I made a couple helpful suggestions, but that was mostly her. I want to hear this nonsense. Why is it Doge?
That's what they call him.
Who?
Doge dog the meme. The internet. I know how you feel about memes.
No. If it's a meme, if it's an actual meme, like I'm expected to know it. It's that.
How
It's
do you not know what Doge is?
I don't know what Doge is. The Dargan thing is. I was like, oh, it's cute. You misspelled the thing, because it sounds like lolcat speak. Is that kind of what it is?
I don't know. I don't know how they came up with the name Doge. It's just Doge.
Well, 'cause
And
sometimes the G is pronounced like a J or whatever. So
yeah. Now I'm wondering though if you've seen if you know which one I'm talking about.
no,
All right.
I probably haven't. I'll be honest. I probably haven't.
Well, now I'm
Okay.
gonna find it.
But Sid, what is this? What are we doing today?
Oh, we're gonna talk about some game stuff.
Yay, we talk about games and things and stuff we've been doing. Oh man, I like that we've turned. I don't know how consistent it will ever be, but I like that this has become like a let's get together and talk about gaming. Oh, that's right. Do you have Tabletop Simulator?
No.
We're gonna have to work on that
Yeah.
one way or the other. That and getting you a proper camera. We're gonna have to set up like a fundraising system for you somehow. Um.
Pay for me to have better camera so you can see my boobs better.
That's a whole marketing strategy for certain people. You understand that, right?
Oh, I'm sure.
Like, you say that as a joke, like, there's people who actually earn their living off that. Like, that's what they do.
Yep.
And, like, that part doesn't, like, make sense to me. There's, like, the extremist part after that, and if I open up chat, it's gonna mess with you. So let's see what that does. Yep. So, yeah, so we're not doing that.
Oh man. You're supposed to. Well, you can read up about Doge meme later. It has its own Wikipedia page.
See,
So
if I move that around, then it fucks you up on the stream. I was trying to see if I can rearrange it. Next time, I will do it with chat open and put you and frame you properly. I can do it right now, but I risk crashing the stream.
yeah,
I don't really want to do that
like I said,
on purpose.
You can read up about Doge in your own time. It's fine.
Okay, so sadly, because of how my work works sometimes and everything, this has been my greatest gaming source in the past few weeks. Just because there's not time. And it's so funny, just as I said that. Oh, they're reposting. Okay, so if you're familiar with the Weird Lanes, Mary the Knitting Dev does some board game reviews and news stuff over there.
Yeah.
And they reposted her, or they retweeted about her board game review for Seven Wonders. I don't know if you've played Seven Wonders. So.
I have not, but I have seen it in the game shop before.
It's a very good game. It's got quite a few expansions to it, and I think each one makes the game better. With the exception of maybe Babel. The way the game works is you have like a deck of cards. Where you have 3 decks of cards, one for each stage of the game. You take that deck, you deal it out to the number of players. The deck varies on the number of players, or varies by the number of players. So you deal those out, and there's a draft system that comes in. Everyone picks a card, and then passes the cards to the next person, and then eventually everyone picks all the cards.
Right.
And then from there you play and pass from the hands. I'm sorry. I said that backwards. You deal the cards out and then you play and pass. You don't pick and pass. It's a small difference in the words, and then you end up building a little empire, and then after each stage you score. And the scoring's a little complicated, but that's it in a nutshell.
Okay.
The Leaders expansion gives you another stage essentially, or a subset to each stage, where you can play like famous leaders, which will help some of the advantages in the game, the different ways to score in the game. There's a wonder pack that gives you more boards. There's a cities expansion that adds a new variant of card into the game. And then Babel is actually like a whole another box that has its own board, and it has what's called the Tower of Babel. There's these little pieces that have rules on them, and instead of playing your cards as normal, you can sacrifice a card to play a tile to the Tower of Babel and institute a global rule on everybody.
Oh, interesting.
It is interesting, except the global rules are either really mean, so no one wants to play them, or they're like really beneficial, so no one wants to play them, so no one else gets it. So in our games, it sat there a lot. It's like, oh, you actually did that. You're a jerk. And then the Great Project comes in the Babel set as well, and I actually really like the Great Project, because if you contribute to the Great Project, it kind of hurts you a little bit, but you get a reward from it. So while it might hurt you in the moment, you get a reward later on at the end of the game that can either help you score a lot or set you up for later things in the game.
Okay.
And as long as the Great Project gets completed, which it always has in my experience, it's always fun. So, love Mary. She does good stuff over there for the Weirdlings and board game stuff. If I can, like, she's busy, I'm busy. I need to schedule like a play date with her and some peoples to play some Tabletop Simulator. So remind me after the show. We'll talk about something for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I was complaining about this.
Right.
Because I don't like that this is my greatest source of gaming, but I do find that I've missed things like Final Fantasy Tactics, and I was like, there's so many fucking games for your phone, there's gotta be tactical games, and I'm talking like turn-based tactical games. And I will pull up my current favorite that I've actually been playing, and I plan on keeping it on my phone for a while. And I forgot it takes a minute to load. I'm just going to talk about this last, because there's some other ones in the way, but I want to point this out. So that's it right there. I'm sure you can see that fairly well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those little square blocks are bad guys. They're all dice. Everyone's a die. So I can take my troops and put them on the map, and when I move them around, they actually... Fuck that. It actually moves them, and then it rolls them. So you have 6 sides that you can equip things to, whether it be shields or attack modules or whatever. And then they have special skills, and that's the thing that's not getting me, because that I'm not getting is how to activate their special skills so it's meaningful. So like right now, my range guys, my archers, and my mages are just artillery. It's like, just move and use one of the things that I put on you 6 times.
Okay.
And there's advantages because there's certain equipment only certain classes can use. Like the enemy archers do this a lot. They'll equip like a bunch of feet on them, and that lets them move again, and which will cause it to re-roll. So they can literally move several times in a row and then shoot me. So I can't always gauge their range properly. And then the mages have started to get AoE attacks, so that's been fun.
Well, the only thing I feel like I can contribute to this conversation is that I'm going to be a die for Halloween.
Are you really?
Yes.
That's okay.
It's a throwback. I was a die for Halloween 2 years in a row.
How many sides, though?
Like, all sides. Well, except I think the bottom, from the pictures that I could see, the bottom just open.
How many sides is the die?
Six sides. Six sides.
Oh, okay. I was like, what are you talking about?
I know.
Okay.
I forget. I was like, oh, wait, that's right. I play with multiple dies that are different sizes now. I should know this question. Ding.
Okay, so I got a couple of them I want to talk about real quick. Myth Adventures I talked about before. It's also called Hero Tactics. It's a good little tactical game. There's nothing really truly special about it, but it's one of those ones where it's like you've got to just grind. The whole game is grinding, and you have to absorb troops, which I think is just weird. I don't like doing that. And then Lionheart Tactics is similar, but it was really impressive, and I should have kept it on there for the phone or to show. But you actually can touch and twist the camera because it's all in like true 3D.
Okay.
So you can touch the touch screen and twist the camera around to get better views on the battlefield.
Nice.
So I was really impressed with that. It actually had a good fighting system, but I got fed up with something, and I think it's because of how you get characters. Like, I accidentally sold a special character, a special character, and then she's still in the conversations for the storyline, which was weird. And then, so it's just one of these things where you have to cannibalize your troops, and I don't want the priest guy that I have, but it takes so much weird effort to get a decent character to replace him. I'm just like, I'd just rather not play. Because the whole thing is to irritate you into buying or spending money on microtransactions. But why would I do that when I can just stop playing the game?
Right.
Like, that's the thing I don't understand, why people do that. So after that I was like, okay, I think I've had it. I'm probably not going to find decent games on because I'm going to run into that problem because I have several times. But I found Dungeon Link. I don't know if you remember me talking about Free Flow, the puzzle game where you connect the dots.
Yes.
So Dungeon Link is that, but like masked as a battle system.
Okay.
So you have, like, I started out with a samurai character, and then I picked up a priest early on, and then I ended up with Mr. Orc, and I hired an Orc nobleman, and those were like my 4 characters. And so, like, those all populate on the map at random, so you have no control over the deployment. And that's, like, every round, too, which is weird. But then you draw on the map, like, from one of the starting points to their destination point. And if you clear all the squares, you get a special bonus attack, which is ridiculous.
Ridiculous good or ridiculous bad?
It's interesting. It's not necessarily bad, and I played it for a little while there just because I was like, okay, this is interesting. But eventually, it's like it goes back to that grind problem. It goes back to absorbing my party members, and it's just like, I don't like this. I can't get invested in my party. I don't care enough to keep playing this game. It's not the fact that I don't have control over my tactical situation. I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's bothersome. Let's see. And then Spirit Stones was also something interesting. You're familiar with Match 3, right?
No.
I may have to let you borrow Honey Pop or something. I think you'd actually enjoy Honey Pop. Maybe that's your homework this week. Match 3 is where, like, you have, like, Bejeweled or something, and you're matching 3 of a kind in a row.
Oh, yeah. Okay, alright.
And then there's several variations. There's Match 4, Match 5, and then there's some where it's just, like, match anything. And then there's different ways to manipulate that in order to make that happen.
Okay.
The way this one works is, like, it's like Bubble Bobble. You just have a bunch of circles, and then there's 4 colors it could be. It could be blue, red, orange, or green. And if you connect enough of them, or 3 or more together, plus whatever special shapes are there, it does some stuff, and those will transfer to the individual characters of the corresponding color, and then those characters will attack the enemy with by a multiplier of some kind.
Ah.
So if you connect like 4 archer or green things, the archer gains 4 times her multiplier, and then that turns into damage, and she shoots the enemy. Make sense?
Gotcha. Okay, yeah.
So I found that was really interesting, and then I started looking at like how you can make up your parties. I'm like, well, what if I just want to do all mages? And you can do that, but then that means that your damage dealing, tank, and archer icons don't do anything. So you end up like clearing a lot of nonsense out, and then doing one big attack later. So you take a lot of damage in the process because you're not killing the guys off right away.
Oh, I see.
So I thought that was interesting, but again, not compelling enough to stay with it. But it was fun because, like, half the character, or more than half the characters were sexy ladies. which I always find being entertaining. Not like, yeah, playing with their boobs. Just that, like, they did it in the first place. It's like, that's a very obvious ploy. That's cute that you did that, but what does it really mean? But, so, I ended up playing with the party configurations and then getting rid of it, because...
So don't ask what boobs mean. Come on. That's just a pointless question.
No. Boobs are great, whatever. But, like, when you put them on display in a game, it's like, it feels like you're saying something there. And now I just realized the height difference in our cameras setups, and it's bothering me. There we go. Not that I have to be taller than you or something, but like if we're like relatively the same height, then that's better. Kevin and I went through this. I should have noticed in the pre-show. All right, so time for Magic in a Minute.
Yay! Magic in a Minute! Oh my, I'm so excited. So my new magic news, because that's kind. You know how you had your, I see how it's gonna be. I see how this is.
What? I had my what?
Oh, you just said that your actual gaming has been limited to your cell phone.
Yeah, for the most part.
And my gaming is limited to Magic the Gathering because that if I'm at work all week, that's what everybody at work plays, as we've discussed previously. And so the newest thing that I have going on with Magic, and I was just in the process of updating a deck list at the moment as well, which I will link to you, so if you want to put it in the comments, if anybody decides they want to look at it and check it out, then, that's a thing.
You're giving me work to do.
Oh, you just link it in the thing. It's no big deal. In the comments box.
If I could do it right now, it wouldn't be so bad. I'll do it. I'll try to remember.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you look later, whatever. If not, no big deal.
And that's my fault. It's because I set it up poorly that I can't just do it right now. So I'll get over it.
But anyway, a few of my coworkers started building what they call 2DH decks, and these are commander decks. So the 100-card decks, and all the cards are $2 or less. Which in some cases can be challenging. I didn't find it a super huge challenge.
It's still $200.
Well, no, it's $200 or it's $2 or less. So a lot of the cards are,
okay.
Like
25-cent commons or whatever.
Right, exactly. I only have like a couple of cards that are like kind of bordering on $2, but not really. They did this because one of my coworkers specifically went to a game shop that's really popular down in Ballard, Seattle area, and supposedly they have a night that is set up specifically so that people can go and play this version of Magic the Gathering. So I decided, since my funds are limited and whatnot, that I would choose to also participate in this 2DH deck thing because it's fun to kind of, put that little limit on it, and also something I could afford. And my commander is, I've seen this card before, a couple of sets ago. It was the Con set, I think. Or the Dragons Are Tarkir or something like that. But anyway, her name is Alicia, who smiles at death.
Okay.
So she's kind of funny, and I don't know if it's easy to read kind of what her text is. I'm sure people can look it up.
First strike. Whenever Alicia, who smiles at death, attacks, you may pay 1 white or black, or 2 white or black. If you do, return target creature card with power 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, tapped and attacking. So, okay, so she reses them in the battle.
And so I basically have a bunch of 2 power creatures that have entered the battlefield effects. So, when they enter the battlefield, it destroys target creature, or destroys target enchantment or artifact, or it creates tokens or that sort of thing. And so, and I also have a lot of enchantments that are set up to deal just direct damage to the opponent when creatures enter the battlefield. That way, when I return a creature, it does damage. If it generates tokens, they deal damage, etc., etc. Um, what else? Oh, just in like, and obviously I have quite a few sack outlets, so ways to sacrifice creatures so that I can put them into the graveyard, so that I can use her ability to bring them back out. Blah blah blah. And yeah, it's I've played it a few times I played it in a 2v2v2 setting, so it's a two-headed giant game where you have like a partner you play with, and then we played it in a free-for-all, so it's two people against two people against two people.
Okay, so it's two-headed giant, three-headed Hydra.
Two-headed giant free-for-all, and so yeah, you've got yeah, I mean, if the Hydra is trying to kill itself or its other heads or something like that.
Well, no, that's there. Maybe it's more in the board game world, but that's what you call it when you have, like, in Star Realms, in particular, in Epic, when you have three opponents. There's a format called Hydra, or that's what they call Hydra.
Oh, okay, all right, I gotcha.
Wait. Am I wrong? I might be wrong. I may be thinking that the 2 versus 2 format for teams is called Hydra. Because I know Hunter's where you can only attack to your left, which is.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. I should present that one day and just see if people would play like that or not.
If they would play Magic the Gathering in Hunter style.
Yes.
I'm sure there's that's already like an established format.
Oh, I'm sure. It's just not something that I play regularly with coworkers. It's always just like a free for all, like, oh, I mean, like me and my teammate can choose to attack both of the enemies in a turn if we choose to, basically. So, yeah. So anyway, the first game that I played in the two-headed giant setting, I totally demolished both teams and was carrying my partner pretty much the whole time. So it was good to see that the deck was working well. And comments that were being made that like, wow, you $2 deck, or like the $2 or less deck is actually beating all of the regular decks. That's pretty crazy. So
sorry, I was listening. I was just watching Kitty's fight.
Sure, I see how it is. I know how you feel about Magic.
Well, he was like laying on top of her, and he's huge, and then like after she got out from under him, she like turned around and was just like, pow.
Well, that's not deserved.
So that's how Kitty's game.
Yep, this is true. But yeah, that's basically all I have to say about that for right now.
So I was trying to pull it up for Hydra and see what the actual term was, but yeah, whatever. So fantasy football. Did you want to talk about that?
Oh, I mean, I could touch on it a little bit, I suppose.
I don't do American Gridiron like in any way, shape, or form, and apparently Syd is a true American.
Oh gosh, I don't like the way that sounds.
What do you mean?
I mean, like, I'm not all like America type person. Like, I'm probably one of those people. I mean, maybe I shouldn't say this like on the internet, but I'm one of those people where it's like, if I had a choice to go live in another country, I probably would. Like, I don't think like America is like the greatest country in the world or anything like that. Oh, it's
definitely not. Like, we have the most freedom. Like, in not the most freedom, because it's really not true. But we have a bunch of assholes with freedom, is what we have.
Basically.
Yeah, and I served, and I was like, these people? These are who I'm protecting? No. No.
No, but in the sense of the football thing, yeah, again, it's another work thing. So it's like, the boss invited people like, oh, who wants to play fantasy football this year? And I played it last year, and I did okay. And that was the first year I had played, and so this year I decided to play again just to see if I could kind of, do better than I did last year, because it did meh. And I'm doing substantially better than last year. I'm one of the top people in my league, so that's always nice.
Now explain it to me, though. Like, what agency do you have over it? Like, what choices are you making? Just which teams you think will win where, or are you actually selecting, like, people to make up an imaginary team?
Yeah, so you build a team with players from just from many of the teams that are out there, basically. So, for instance, like I have the Denver Broncos as my defense, and they've scored me a substantial 21 points this evening so far.
Your defense has?
Yeah.
That's a fucked up league if your defense is scoring you points. Like someone's doing really bad on offense.
Yeah, basically. Well, the Broncos are playing the Raiders this evening, so that should say a lot. And the Broncos are doing well this season anyway, so their defense is good to have. Who else? Like I have Gronk from the Patriots as my tight end.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, and he's pretty good. Andy Dalton, I made the mistake of benching him because he was playing my Seahawks today, and he scored like 27 points for my fantasy league, and I ended up going with Alex Smith from Kansas City. See, yeah, you know what? You told me to talk about it. So
I did tell you to talk about it. This is totally my fault. That's why I'm regretting it.
Yep. So.
Oh, man. Okay.
When you start talking about Minecraft stuff, I'm going to be like.
Well, that's fine. When I get back to playing Minecraft regularly again, I will totally do that. I might just play some tonight just to do it. I just have some crazy projects going on there, and I'm almost ready just to reboot the server, but I'm waiting. Okay, are we doing Minecraft already? Yeah, because I haven't actually played, so this will be my Minecraft segment.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't want to hear about fantasy football anymore, so...
Oh, I was fine with it, but you have to be okay with me going, this is stupid, and then going back to being politely quiet.
Slightly quiet, sure.
Well, the part where it's not polite is where I'm like, your things are stupid. No, but like, it's just, you were going all into it because you're like, I don't really have much to say, so I was like, it won't be that bad.
Well, then when you gave me the format, I can't be like, oh, well, I'm going to talk about fantasy football. I've got some people that have put together on a team, and they're doing okay.
Well, I just was unaware, because my fantasy football involves vampires and ogres and skeletons.
Okay.
Blood Bowl! Blood Bowl!
Oh, it's a cat! I think I was just sorting through my magic cards, realizing I think I was missing a card. That's bad.
I sold mine. I think they got a really
good
deal
sell it?
too. Yeah. I realized like how many rarer cards I had too. I had like a clone and a doppelganger in there.
Nice.
I had a bunch of I had like 4 goblin grenades. I don't care anymore. But like I sold all that. And I think I'm happy they got a good deal now. Oh, that's what I forgot. That's what I wanted to put on here. Okay, so we'll talk about that now. So, like, I don't know if you've ever seen or played a miniature game, like a miniature war game. Like, I'm sure you've gone to the shop and there's...
Oh, yeah, the people in there painting the little figurines and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was a fucking lot of time that I'm not getting back.
But did you enjoy it while you were doing it?
Painting?
Or seeing the finished product?
No, I've never enjoyed any aspect of. Now, once I got a little better, like I painted up a version of Kara Sloan from War Machine, like the Joker. Like she had red hair and like fair skin, but then like I did her purple armor with green accents, so it looked kind of like the Joker's suit. I was gonna do her whole army like that.
Nice.
So if I ever get a Signal army back up again, that's definitely how I'm gonna paint it because I didn't like how that looked. But no, typically I'm just like, these are things. Do they have color on them? Oh, okay. But I realize other people have that certain aspect, but I've never been proud of my work. It's like, yes, I have these 700 models painted. I hated every second of it.
Aww. That's rough. Can you just play with them not painted?
You can, but in the culture for wargaming, there's a kind of like a stigma there. Like you're in a different group of people if you have painted models.
Like you're not as serious if yours are unpainted or something like that.
Yeah, or if you do like a really bad attempt, because there's some people who will just go outside and spray and do weird things or dip their models, and it's like, what are you doing? Stop it. Because I'd rather they just be bare or prime. Like if that's all you did, that means that, like, hey, you did the right steps, and you're going to work on getting them painted one day.
Yeah.
And that's fine to me, like, because painting takes just way too much fucking effort. Now, I got to the point where, because I'm always multitasking, I got to the point where I could paint and play Blood Bowl fairly well, and I'd actually get a lot done. But my Super Dungeon Explorer models and my new War Machine models, if I ever finish going that route, I don't know if I'll ever have them painted. I primed and started getting some of them painted, but I didn't do too many of them myself for Super Dungeon Explorer. But my point is that I'm finally starting to sell off that. Like, I sold off my Necrons, I sold off my Space Marines, and I... So, okay, before we crashed, yay, isn't that the best? I was just happy that I was selling them off, and that if I gotta paint models, it's gonna be other stupid things, and we'll see. But I did want to kind of lead that into, I bought my first chibi model that's not actually Super Dungeon Explorer, just because I actually really like this model. And you can see he has a little bird on his hat.
Well, that's not cool. I don't like birds. But that's cool for you. He's cool. Without the bird.
Like, they're releasing new models this month called Scarecrow Jack and Beatrice the Witch. And so I think they saw this model and they were like, we could do that. Because he looks kind of similar, but he's got like this fucking weird scythe. So I wanted to get him and then make him into a bad guy version. So this will be Magic Jack. I mean, that bird's kind of stupid looking. I don't know if it'll focus or not. Focus. Focus.
Put your hand like behind it.
Oh, you mean like
Put
that?
your hand behind it. Yeah.
What a cute bird. It's a bird.
No.
Whatever. But he's got a top hat. I actually like him better without the cape and top hat, but I figured I'd just use them all. Because that way he looks magical. So yeah, Super Dungeon Explorer's been rotting on my mind. So, like, there's a epic version I've modded to use more of the heroes and stuff in a single mission. So I've been wanting to do that, but I gotta figure out how to do it, because I think I have to play it on the computer, and either I have to do it in Tabletop Simulator, and that'll let me save it, or I can just track it on Excel sheets. Because it has to use bigger maps or bigger tiles than exist.
Oh, I see.
Because you just can't fit enough models in one tile reasonably. Ooh, excuse me. So I'm gonna do it on a bigger thing, which means that their movement's essentially reduced. But that just makes it more for the adventure, because the whole idea is to play through this campaign and then use that as the story set line for a show project. I don't know, did you ever read Dragonlance books when you were younger? That was the whole thing there. They played D&D or TSR, I think it was probably what it was at the time, and then they took notes on the campaign, and they took that and wrote a book with it.
Oh, okay.
So it's something similar. It's a throwback to Margaret Weiss and Bridget something. I forgot her name.
Uh-oh.
And we lost some of the show notes too in the crash, which was fun. But because I didn't save. Okay. So I think the last thing, I had two things. I want to get you involved, and then I want to end on crowdfunding. Like your controller debacle. You want to talk about that first?
Yeah, I kind of spaced it, and then by the time I remembered to do it and had money to buy it online, it was too late in the week to actually get it before today.
Well, rewind a little bit, because what was it like to realize, oh, I need a thing? Like, I've got this, but
yeah.
Like, and I had this specifically for playing on PC, because my Xbox controllers, which I haven't really touched in like a year, are all wireless.
Right.
Which I do now have a dongle, so I could use them. But that's the thing, because you play mostly PC in your career, right?
Yeah, just but like mouse and keyboard.
So, and then when we used to play Castle Crashers, was that on a keyboard?
No, I had a controller, but I think
Okay, it's away.
I swear, yeah.
Yeah.
It got up and walked away.
So I was just, that's what I wanted. I wanted your insight on, like, what it was to realize, oh shit, I need one of these things.
Right.
And then go through the process of, like, looking for one, just like, what the fuck am I doing? I don't know. I don't know how you feel about that.
No, yeah, because it's like, okay, well, I can get one online, but then I have to wait for it to get here. And then I tried to go and get one at Target, and the one that they had there, I just was kind of like, "Ooh, I don't like the setup of it," and it was a little more than I wanted to pay.
It was the Xbox One controllers?
Well, no, they had Xbox. They had like an actual just PC controller thing, but it wasn't. I don't know. I didn't like. It was kind of more like a PlayStation controller versus an Xbox controller.
Was it a Logitech?
Yeah.
I actually like how those are set up. I think this is a little bit more ergonomic if you want, but I actually really like the Logitech ones. I think they're worth the $50. But if you don't, but not everybody's got the same budget.
Well,
and I can't recommend everyone spend it.
I think that one was only like 25 or something like that.
Oh,
25.
I would have bought that. I think it's worth
probably
it.
could have picked that one up, but yeah, I was just under the impression because the ones that I've used before are kind of like the Xbox style, and so I was just like, I'm gonna stick with what I know versus trying some, like spending money on something that I'm not like familiar with. So.
No, yeah, I totally get you because that whole fucking thing. I really wish they would have standardized back when, and they just all would have used the ABXY format. Because now triangle, square, all that, it's like you have to translate in your head.
Right.
And I was watching like Rooster Teeth play, I think Until Dawn, where they were doing QuickTime events, and Ryan was like stuttering and barely making it because he had to translate which button was to where. And I think on top of that, they were using a PC controller, or they were using like a non-standard controller too. So it's like you had to look at it and go like, okay, it would normally be square, which is left.
Jesus.
And QuickTime events are a mean thing for that.
Yeah.
But like, so I was trying to help find some good options, and then like I ran across some video games, like some NIS games in particular, Nippon Ichi Software, because they make the Disgaea series, and I really like the Disgaea series. And I think I actually applied to work for them at one point, and then I realized like that's never going to happen. So like I put on my wish list, and I just realized like there's so many games I just stick on my wish list, whether it's Steam or Amazon. It's like one day I'd like to play that.
Yeah.
Like I'm starting to realize more and more I'm never gonna get to play half the games I want to play.
But it's good to have a list of stuff that either people suggest to you or that you come across that you find kind of interesting. That way, at some point, if you're bored and are looking for something new to play, then that's there for you to pick from. Or if there's like a Steam sale going on, it'll notify you if one of the games in your wish list has come up on sale and stuff. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at is my retirement plan. Like after all the current YouTubers and stuff, when they get old, they're all gonna be dead from drugs and shit. Some of them fucking they've got to be. And then, like, it's going to be me being like, I remember playing this back in 1999. Like, that'll be my thing. I'll be that first generation, or that 1.5 generation of, like, elderly YouTubers.
Oh, man.
That'll be my goal there. But then I'll have plenty of time to play all the games.
True.
If they're still around. Like, by some miracle, like, EA could be dead by then, and then Origin's something else. Maybe I won't have that platform anymore. Because eventually, like, all things come to an end, right? So there will one day be a time where Blizzard's not a thing.
Right.
And that's such a huge part of especially esports. I'm just rambling now, but, Like that's such a huge part of the gaming industry right now that like it's hard to imagine.
Right. Yeah, it's that. I mean, just all the big ones, where it's like Nintendo used to be a big thing back in the day, and now
They're gonna be
that's
gone sooner than later.
yeah, like, that's definitely not as popular as your PlayStation or your Xbox, and to think about, where Xbox will be in 10 years or something like that, if it'll still be a thing or not. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Xbox off. Not that anyone. I just wanted someone to get mad at us because I shut off their Xbox.
Well, I think, don't they have it set up so that it like recognizes your actual voice or
I have
something?
no idea.
I tried to do that at like my ex-boyfriend's place, just be like, try to turn it on and off. I think it does it with the PlayStation too.
I think you have to set it to do that or to be under general recognition. Maybe that's what it is. But I remember there's a lot of times where like Geek and Sundry would be talking about stuff, and then they'd just be like, "We just shut off everyone's Xboxes." So I don't. That to me, I find rather humorous. There's got to be one more thing. I know there's always one more thing with me, but I lost the show notes, so I don't know what it was. We talked about wish listing. Oh, crowdfunding. That's what I went in on. Because it's Oktoberfest, and Japanime Games has their new Tando Curry Oktoberfest thing, and they were trying to launch. They said at the beginning like that's what they would like to do, but they said it early, the release date, so that it would be available for then. And then they did this thing where I think they just fucked around with it because they knew it wasn't coming till October, and they just pulled everyone's leg until October, because it's too much of a coincidence that it got delayed until October. And then they had actual delays with the big box and everything, and there's actually like a real big shipping problem. So now we probably won't get Oktoberfest until November. And they're a bunch of fuckers. I just wanted to say that. But like I looked at like all my pending stuff for like crowdfunding campaigns and stuff, and just like, this isn't great. Like there wasn't a lot. There's always bad experiences in with it. You might get a deal, but it doesn't feel worth it to go through all that mess. Especially since I don't care about having it first. I just want to have it as soon as it's available.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like, let me pre-order. Like, if I really believe in something, like, let me pre-order it. But like that blind pre-order $60 video games that you haven't played by unreliable companies, no, I don't do that. But like new models for a game that I already play, like Forgotten King, if I could just have pre-ordered everything in Wave 2, definitely would have done it. And I think that would have made it easier on them, so they know what to expect. So like I've got Among the Stars expansion, a Eminent Domain expansion, Star Realm stuff that's still coming. Like there's just a lot of stuff like just floating out there in the ether that I don't have, and then if I move, I've just got this list of like 6 or 7 shipments coming that like don't have the right address on it.
Well, would it forward still?
Well, that's the thing, is they ship it by U.S. Post, maybe, but I don't know how they're shipping it because they haven't shipped it yet. So like FedEx will just go there because they just go to the thing. So I can try to update it through the managers and everything and send them their customer service emails and whatnot. But like it's just making me nervous if it's like I just want these things and then to not have anything on my plate. Because like Indiegogo, I've got one thing that I backed on Indiegogo because I was like, this will be perfect for VidCon. VidCon was